Hello everyone, and I'm doing another combat tip, or Cataclysm tips, but this is about combat. So, when you start the game, you need to understand the game isn't fair. The game doesn't care. The game's gonna, the game's gonna say go fuck yourself and throw a chicken walker at you within your first hour. You think I'm joking? I've literally started the game, walked outside of I walk outside of the shelter, and there's a chicken walker that immediately kills me. That's happened at least once, and it's actually happened kind of twice. There was a chicken walker in the city. I walk in, it shoots a zombie, and then it shoots me. It happens. So this game is really unfair. However you want to play the game, whether you want to give your character more skill points than necessary, or you want to play hardcore with no skill points, or what do I give, however you want to play, you're going to have to fight. There's no way around it. You're going to fight. If you have NPCs on, this becomes a lot more difficult because NPCs early game are really hard to deal with. If you don't have a gun, these NPCs are probably your worst nightmare at the start. Once you get a decent weapon, like a good shotgun or something, they don't matter as much, but they can still be really dangerous. Either way, zombies are going to be a big threat. If you have a high torso encumbrance, like I do, or you are not really good at combat, throwing is your best friend. Throwing does not take, like, I can have a high encumbrance. I think your arm and hand, that will affect your ability to, like, throw and such. But in general, like, if you don't have gloves on, or you don't have, like, something cumbering your hand or arm, you can take, like, a throwing knife, or you can take just a general weapon you could throw, and you can be pretty effective. I like to use throwing knives, throwing axes, stuff like that. You'll see these are the weapons I like to throw. If it comes down to it, I'll throw my crowbar, my hammer, and other things. But in general, it's a good thing to have. Like, I have all these weapons. I could probably get away with them. Actually, I probably couldn't because I don't have enough throwing knives, which is the only reason I carry them around. Because I keep running out, because I keep missing, because of the mittens I wear. Like, I have crab hands. So, I can't throw very well due to the mittens. If I take them off, I could probably do really good with them. Let's see. I'll get a fair distance away. This is a fair distance. So, range of 6, I one-shot it. But that shows you can be really good at throwing. Like, throwing knife, I can throw this really far. Or the combat knife. I throw it really far and it does a good amount of damage. I think I've thrown the wood axe and my max damage was 39 at one point. Same for the kukri, the machete. The unconventional weapons generally will give you a higher throwing damage, but they take up more space. They take up a item slot. I think I can extend see it better. Like, they take up a letter, which that's not a big deal, but it just kind of makes it faster if you don't have too many letter items. But in general, that's just a convenience thing. But it does take up space. They do weigh more. Like this hatchet, it weighs 2 pounds by itself, and these throwing knives weigh 3. So basically, I'm carrying about 4. I'm carrying about 1.5 to 2 extra throwing knives in that one hatchet. So if I didn't have that hatchet and had a throwing knives instead, I'd probably have about 2 extra throwing knives. This combat knife, it doesn't weigh as much, but it's still like an extra combat knife, extra throwing knife. The hunting knife doesn't weigh much. That's pretty good. So the kukri weighs about a pound. That's probably an extra throwing knife too. Same for the machete. Like, these generally aren't heavy weapons. I think, yeah, this is 5 pounds. That is basically 6 extra throwing knives if I didn't have that. Crowbar. Of course, this is a tool. I don't really throw these two very much. Those are kind of like I've thrown everything and I need something else to throw. And it sounds kind of stupid. Like, why would I want to throw knives at zombies? because it's really effective. Guns take a while to get. Guns take ammo. Guns make noise. Bows take skill. Bows don't have very quick firing. Crossbows especially, you get one shot, and it takes you like an hour to reload. It doesn't actually take an hour, but it does take like a good 30 seconds minimum to reload. So it takes a long time. Even with my 14, 14, 14, 14, which, yes, my character is a cheat character. I have 100 skill points on her. I'm not very good at the game still. Either way, even with this character, it still takes a long time to reload a crossbow. I don't even use crossbows. I prefer bows because they're easier. But they have limited ammo, and while you can recover its ammo, the arrows can break, and you are limited. It takes resources to craft them, but if you find throwing knives, you can pretty much keep them repaired. I actually have not ever damaged a throwing knife. I don't know if you can damage them. I imagine you could in some extreme circumstance by like throwing a grenade at it. But I mean, in what you're going to be using it for, self targets like zombies and other things that attack you, it's really effective. And when you get really good, like my throwing skill is 7, it's almost there to 8. It's getting there. I can get a lot of headshots, and those do amazing damage. A headshot with a combat knife, I think, can do like 39 damage. That doesn't sound like a lot. That can take, I think it can go from a heavily injured zombie down to dead with that. It does a lot of damage. I've one-shotted zombie dogs with throwing knives. It's a really powerful skill to have because it's quiet, it's effective, and you can regain the equipment. And yes, my combat knife is damaged, but I could repair it. I just need plastic chunks and scrap metal and a soldering iron, and I can repair it. So I can easily maintain this. While guns are way better. They have more range. They can fire faster. A point blank shotgun can one shot most enemies. A throwing knife can't do that without a high skill, but a shotgun, if you're one tile away, the odds of you missing, if that's even possible, are extremely low. But having good throwing takes a while. Way I look at it, it scales from rocks to maybe whatever is at hand, like I guess pots and pans, if that is what you have to do, to like maybe baseballs and just general equipment you have to throw. Throwing knives, axes, and then miscellaneous weapons. And why do I like miscellaneous weapons? Well, I do rank them on the same as throwing knives and axes. Throwing knives and axes stack. They typically weigh less than your other tools. The only problem is you don't have those other tools. Like if I only had throwing knives, I wouldn't have this hatchet. I wouldn't have the combat knife, the hunting knife, the kukri, and the machete. I mean, honestly, I'd only need the hatchet and maybe the machete, to be honest. But it's still nice to have these different tools, and they do a lot of damage. Before I end the video, I like to say there's only 2 styles of throwing. There's the efficient thrower that uses throwing knives and axes. This means you have a lot of inventory space if you either make them or find them. You have lots of ammo you can throw. It's very effective. And then there's the berserker. The berserker, in my opinion, is one that like throws hatchets, throws the other weapons. While it does a lot of damage, you're committing a lot of weight and inventory space to these weaponries. But in the end, you do have a lot more utility than the efficient thrower. Either way, pick your style. I highly recommend throwing for early to mid game. Maybe once you get to the late game and you have guns, you have plenty of materials, guns can be more effective. It's all up to you, but I do highly recommend throwing when you first begin. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video when I can give more tips.